Nefertiti's significance in Egyptian art. We will be discussing Akhenaten, Nefertiti and the Three Daughters altar, and the bust of Nefertiti. Akhenaten made the bold decision to change the main religion from worshipping the god Amun to the sun god Aten. Another change that he made was that he made himself and his wife the only two who could represent the sun god Aten. This is an altar that someone would have had in their home to be displayed. Even though their reign was very short, they needed to win the public somehow, and being relatable and likable was the way to go. This is where Nefertiti and her daughters come in. The pharaoh needed his wife and his daughters to portray himself as a family man. Not only was he being very loving and caring towards his daughters, his wife was also seated right beside him to show that they were both equal. The art style itself was different from what we were used to seeing as well. Their skinny necks, arms, and protruding bellies with their bulbous heads were very different. It was a style that Akhenaten chose to do to portray him as the most holy ones closest to the sun god, and the pharaoh chose to have his wife and children next to him, portraying them together. However, Akhenaten wouldn't have lasted as long as he did without the aid of his wife Nefertiti. Nefertiti helps maintain the starting image that he needed to successfully change the polytheistic religion to monotheistic. She is shown throughout the art with the pharaoh, and it is thought that she was also someone who shared power, even though it was never confirmed. In today's day and age, she is loved and the epitome of beauty for women of color. But little do they know the significance that she had and the impact that she needed to have for the public to accept the changes in Egyptian culture. Even though after Akhenaten died, the religion changed back to how it was, they were still able to make some kind of impact even in the art. It was very different from what ancient Egypt was used to, and the change was not something they accepted lightly. Now, the bust of Nefertiti is the way that we found out that she even existed during ancient Egypt. Even though the bust itself was supposed to be more of a 3D type of sketch to be used to make other designs for her, we know how important she was to the pharaoh Akhenaten because of this prototype bust. The part she played was small. Her husband, the pharaoh, couldn't have done his job and would have probably completely failed at his job if she wasn't there to portray their family as perfect and happy like everyone else would at the time. It definitely humanized him, and she succeeded with playing her part. While there's no concrete evidence that would point to the fact that she had power politically, she was still an important asset to her husband's image. This could look like she was being objectified by her husband and used as a pawn, but it's more of the way that she moved in silence to make sure that his reign as pharaoh was successful. Like I've said before, the pharaoh needed Nefertiti more than she ever needed him. To an extent, he definitely benefited the most from her being used as an asset.